Hey, welcome back to Rich G Insights. Today we're going to talk about some common sort of misconceptions or like a sort of basic investor fact or some like information that I think should be out there that unfortunately doesn't seem to be covered enough. I think that a lot of the time in the news when stocks are being talked about, they're journalism professionals, not investment professionals or investors or stock analysts necessarily covering the news. Of course, there's little blurbs from investors and venture capitalists and professionals in the journalist pieces, but often I think that they sort of gloss over this one fact, and it sort of misleads a lot of people and retail or new investors who are just individuals and getting started with the stock market and other types of investments sort of don't seem to understand this a lot of the time when we're talking. And so yeah, I just wanted to make a quick video sort of clearing this up. Sorry for the long intro, but today what I thought we should talk about is sort of stock versus market cap. So I think that almost anyone who knows a little bit about investing can tell you that when you invest in a company and the company is a public company and you're doing it through a typical like investment broker like Charles Schwab or TD Ameritrade or Stash or Robinhood or Public Acorns, any sort of one of these investment apps or websites or brokers, generally people would tell you what you're buying is a stock. But what actually is a stock is something that I think is fuzzy to more investors than you would expect. So basically when a company is created and assigned a value and people want to invest in that company, you create what are commonly referred to as shares. Essentially, they're just pieces of the company. And so the important thing here is that the value of the total amount of shares represents the total value of the company. So if I have 100 shares, for example, in my company, and each share is worth $1, the market cap of my company, the total value, the sum value of my entire company is $100. So if I own 10 of these shares, that would be worth $10 and 10% of the company. Okay, so that's straightforward and all, but why does everyone then talk about stock price? They say, oh, Tesla's trading at $730, that's a really valuable company, or that stock has gone up so much that they must really be worth a lot now, or oh, I found this cheap company, it's only worth $3 a share and I think it's got a lot of room to grow. All these statements to varying degrees are wrong. Just because a company has a low share price does not mean that the value of the company is low. And conversely, just because a share price is high does not mean a company is necessarily a highly valued company. I think people have this tendency to equate higher share price with safer investments or higher valued companies, or oh, it's a $2 share, so it has less room to fall. It can only go down $2, but if it goes up to $10, which isn't a lot of money, then it's worth a lot more. And to a certain degree, this has truth to it, but mainly because psychologically people are more acclimated to buying things that are cheaper. So, a share at $7 where you can buy 10 of them for $70 or almost 13 for $100 It sounds a lot better than being able to buy one share of the company for $100 or $70. Further, share price doesn't matter as much anymore. I mean, I was mentioning a whole bunch of different investment apps earlier, and I'm sure if you guys are investing, you're probably using one of them. And basically, you know, there's a trend that's only accelerating towards lower fee trades or no fee trades. Public's a great example of that. They actually have a tipping option when you make a trade, but there's no execution cost. And, you know, Charles Schwab has zero trade fees. Robinhood has zero trade fees. Stash only costs $1 a month and then has no fees per trade. So the industry is definitely moving towards cheaper transaction fees. But also there's a very clear trend you guys are possibly aware of called fractional investing. And what that is when you can buy less than one share of a company. So previously, the reason shares were important is that was the smallest increment that you could issue options to your employees, or investors could invest in only the increment of a share. So if I had 100 shares and each one was worth $10, valuing my company at $1,000, then it would be impossible for someone with only $5 to invest in my company because they would only be able to buy half a share. But now with the advent and gaining prevalence of fractional shares and fractional investing, you can buy pretty much any quantity of stock down to, in some cases it's $1 minimum investment, and others I think it might be $5. Some you can only buy a tenth of a share or a certain amount of fractional shares, but the industry trend is definitely towards buying any quantity of investment with little to no fees per transaction. So shares, in my mind, are gaining less and less importance, and it's actually percentages that people should be worried about. Market cap and percentages are the two things that I think any investor should gauge their investments on and their success on. So why is that? And it's because market cap is more important for determining the value of a company. You know, is my company worth $100 or $1 million? And again, that's derived from the total number of shares times the share price. Another problem I have is in a lot of these news articles or videos, people talk about the share price. They never once mention the market cap or the number of shares. So you actually don't have the full information of what the cost of the investment and what percentage of the company you're buying and what the total value of the investment you're investing in is. And so that's why it kind of annoys me when I see, you know, Tesla shares are up this much, or this company is having a new stock split and that means it's cheaper to buy. And it's like, it's kind of all junk to me. And I know I'm kind of ranting here, but yeah. So sorry if I was a little all over the place. And this one, guys, is kind of just this thought I had. I didn't really prepare anything for this, but if you really take anything away from this video, it's always look at the market cap of a company before you invest. Always look at the number of shares and figure out exactly how much of the company you're buying. Just because a company's stock price is low does not mean it's a cheaper company or a better investment. And similarly, just because a company has a high share price does not necessarily mean the company is more valuable or a better investment. I think that percentages are the most important thing to gauge the success of your investment on. And of course, I'm talking about percentage return. So you don't say, oh, I bought 10 shares and not so I'm doing great because I have 10 shares instead of 5, or oh, I have 500 shares of these 6 companies. Like, that's not important. What's important is I put in X dollars, that also doesn't matter, but received this percentage return over this amount of time, and I own this percentage of this company. That's really all you should be concerned with when investing, is how much of the company you own and what percentage return you're getting per year or over the duration of your total investment. That's the best way to compare the success of different investments to each other. And share price, especially with fractional shares, is just noise. So hope you guys found this informative. Hope you learned something. What's your opinion on share price versus market cap as a metric for talking about stocks? Do you think percentages is more important or dollar investing? Love to hear your thoughts or why. If you guys want more content like this on beginner investing tips or general investing advice, not covering specific companies, I'd love to know that too. If you haven't already, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing. That will help me know to make more content like this about investing, blockchain, and other technology. Have a great day. Peace.